So I'm going to be commentating voiceover on this MetaZoo battle I played against my friend. And looks like we are set up and resolving the die roll. I called evens or odds. He waited for it to roll odds, and then he called even. So that's a little bit odd. So we're going to... Interesting failure to cheat there, but I think we're going to just re-roll it. Try again. I think I got the play. So we're keeping track of our life totals with D10s here. So you can see I've got a D10 on 10 and a D10 percentile on 0, 0. So it reads as 1,000. Meanwhile, my friend Jamie has got his life set at 999. I don't think he's taking one. It's just no point. So here I've opened with my favorite opening pretty much, other than maybe if I had a Aura Fact to start a Chaos Orb or Mermaid Scales, but Water Aura and then Water Baby of Massacre Rock. So Water Baby is a 10 life point beastie, attacks for 30. If there's a river and or lake active, it can do 10 more, so it's up to 50 damage. And when it's destroyed, you get to bookmark 1 or draw a card, assuming you have no non-water pages in play. So Jamie's got a Nighttime Terra as well as the Cosmic Aura. And he's got the Spookster. So when it enters the arena, flip a coin. If head, search the afterlife for a beastie and put it into your spellbook. Then shuffle your spellbook, so that part's not going to apply. So he's just playing an early drop. It does have the Ghost, Phantasm, whatever that ability, that trait, so I can't attack it. Looks like Jamie decided to take that back and is instead going to play Black-Eyed Children. So it does plus 10 damage. It's seen by somebody with brown eyes, but I do not have brown eyes. So it's not going to get that effect. It's going to attack for 20. But it's nighttime, so it's going to do plus 20 more. And we're playing actually with our current, wherever we're playing with those things in effect. We're not using the tournament rules. We're just using casual play rules. So we are playing at night in a suburb. There's a river and a lake nearby. So all of those things are going to be active the entire game. So here on my turn, I've played another Water Aura. And I think I just kind of cycled the Flood the Earth. So Flood the Earth, it has a whole thing where it can destroy all non-water pages, but here I've just decided to contract it for 1 Water Aura to bookmark 1 or draw a card. And then I played a Chaos Orb. So it comes in fatigued as an artifact, and I can fatigue it for 3 of any aura on future turns. So it's a big ramping thing. Unfortunately, it is a non-water page, so if my Water Baby were to be destroyed now, I would not get to bookmark 1. So that is the trade-off of playing Chaos Orb in this deck. Or Chaos Crystal, rather. So for that reason, I'm going to take back the Crystal. I don't want to risk losing the Water Baby's draw effect, and I also don't really have anything I need to ramp into. I think you'll see us both doing various takebacks throughout the game. So because there's a water and a lake nearby, the Water Baby does get the bonus. And I'm attacking for 50, so he's going to go down to 950. There's the Water Baby. You can see that Strangling Hug does 30 damage, and then those 2 symbols on the left, the river and the lake symbol, mean they're going to do plus 10 damage for each of those. All right, Jamie's got his second Cosmic Aura down. He played another Black-Eyed Children, and he's playing Bookmark. So that's just a draw 2 card. And he's attacking me for 60 damage from the Black-Eyed Children because of the nighttime and suburbs. So I'm down to 940. Draw a card and awaken my pages. Another Water Aura. And I'm just getting in for 50. Put him down to 900. Play another Water Baby. So my Water Babies are only attacking for 50, and his Black-Eyed Children are attacking for 60. So I am behind here, but we're racing a little bit. Jamie awakens. Plays his third Cosmic Aura. All right, so he's playing Possession here. So he lets him take control of a beastie, deal 5 damage to it, and awaken it. And at the end of the turn, it comes back to the original owner, but it's fatigued. So he's basically just going to get to hit me for a little bit of extra damage here. we're gonna change around how we track damage here, but for now, it's got 5 damage on the water baby, so you can just see the 5 damage there. All right, go down to 770. So there, I've switched out the 5 damage for 1 pip. We'll change that again later, but that's 5 damage still. And it's a reasonable time to mention while I'm awakening my pages that Jamie is playing a pre-constructed deck. So this is my water deck that I did a deck tech video on previously, and you can see the link in the description there for that. So this is my kind of optimal water build, minus maybe some Loveland Frogmans. But Jamie's just using a precon. And in the future gameplay videos from this series that we played with him that night, he played this precon, I think one other precon that he tried out. So I do have an advantage there. Okay, so I'm just attacking him back with both my water babies for 100. So I think he's down to 800, but I still got a 30-point lead on me, and I don't have anything else to play that turn. So Jamie gets to awaken his pages. Start his turn. Cosmic Aura number 4. And the Black-Eyed Children number 3. And he's attacking with the 2 that were already in play. It's another 120 damage. Now they technically do attack one at a time, but I don't have any interruptions. So I'm down to 650. And he passes back. So I'm playing my 4th Water Aura along with a Chessie. So I actually have the Nightfall version of Chessie that came in the water pre-constructed deck. Chessie lets me draw a card right away, so I bookmarked one there. Picked up another water baby in hand, but I won't be able to play it this turn. And Chessie can attack for a lot of damage. Again, we do have a lake active, and for Chessie you can see that's a plus 50 damage to its 10 damage attack. And the ability text on its attack means it does 10 more for every other water page in play. So I currently have 7, so that'd be 120 damage attack right now from Chessie. Which is a pretty big attack. So I think I've decided not to attack with the water babies because I want to be able to block if the Black-Eyed Children attack Chessie directly. I want to be able to block for it. But I don't think that works out well for me because the water babies only have 10 health, or one of them only has 5 health remaining, and any excess damage would go through to the original target. So I can prevent a little bit of the damage, but if Jamie really tries to kill Chessie, I don't think I'm necessarily going to be able to stop him. So instead, he's played Morpheus, though. So Morpheus is going to put Chessie to sleep, and I don't think he's going to try to attack it. So I think that'll be better for me, because at least I get to keep Chessie around for now. So I guess we're using that hand symbol for asleep. And the way a sleeping beastie wakes up is if they take damage or they're attacked. Now, Jamie doesn't really have any reason to attack it because it's asleep and it's not going to wake up. So unlike in Pokemon where you might flip a coin to see if a Pokemon wakes up in between turns, sleep in MetaZoo is going to be permanent until that beastie takes damage. If he does attack, it will wake up the beastie immediately and then damage normal. If it would take damage while it's asleep in a way other than combat, the damage will be doubled. And then it would wake up. So we do have a question about whether a player can have their beastie attack another one of their beasties. For example, if I want to use Water Baby to give up itself in order to wake up the Chessie, but that is not allowed from what we could find in the rules, so I won't be doing that. So we're looking up some more rules now. If Chessie ever does wake up, though, it will awaken immediately. So if either of us does any damage to it, Chessie will take the damage doubled and then wake up. And by wake up, I mean not only lose the sleeping status, but become awakened. So now that my Chessie is asleep, he's going to go for the face again with all 3 Black-Eyed Children for another 180 damage. So we're going to go back and do one at a time. So I'm going to defend the attack with one of my Water Babies, the damage one. I'm looking to draw a card here more than anything else. So it reduces the 60 damage down to 55 because it's already had 5 damage on it. The rest is going to go through to me. So now I get to kill the Water Baby and draw a card, which is what I was looking for. I think I'm also wanting to play my Chaos Crystal. So I want to cash in my card draws before before I play it, just to make sure I get those draws. So I'm going to prevent another 10 damage here and draw another card by giving up that water baby. All right, and this last 60 damage here, I'm going to just have to take. All right, so now I bookmark 1 to start my turn and awaken. Except for Chessie does not awaken because it's asleep. I'm going to just go ahead and play that river, even though we're playing with the river active anyway. Just it's a waste of card in my hand. I don't need to be looking at it, so I'll just put it out. And I'm strongly considering going off with my torrential river. So it looks like here I am going to play that. So now until end of turn, whenever I contract a water page, I get to deal 30 damage to something and bookmark 1. And because there was a river active when I initially played the spell, I also get to deal 30 damage for that. So 30 damage to one of the black-eyed children. Their health there is 20. So yeah, I just get to take one of those out. And yeah, I have this effect until end of turn. So I play a water aura, which counts as contracting a page, which means I get to do 30 damage and bookmark 1. There we go. Contract a water baby, paying for it, dealing another 30 damage and bookmarking 1. This time I'm hitting Chessie though, because it's going to do double damage because it's asleep, and then I will remove the awaken, or remove the sleep and awaken Chessie. So I'm putting the wrong number of damage on it, but I know that it's supposed to be 60. So I got the 60 damage there on Chessie now, so each pip is now 10 damage. Can I play anything else? Play the Chaos Crystal. Looks like that might be it for my Torrential River this turn. So I want to attack the last... so I have decided to play my other Torrential River. It is free. As part of the effect of Torrential River is that follow-ups can be free because they combo with themselves in that way. They don't stack up the effect, but because there's a river active, again, I get to do 30 damage, and then because of the previous one, I get to deal another 30 damage and bookmark 1. So I've wiped the field on Jamie's side, the 3 black-eyed children, and I dealt 30 directly damage, and then Chessie is also woken up, so I can get in for a bunch more damage. Looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 120 damage. All right, here it comes. All right, so Jamie's down to 650. All right, so Jamie's now had his board wiped. He's going to need to figure out how to get my Chessie off the field if he can. I did play another water baby, even though I kind of cashed in those 2 previous ones. I decided to play the Chaos Crystal. I mostly played the water baby to trigger the Torrential River, but yeah, if it does die, I won't be able to draw a card from that as long as that river or that crystal is on the field. Jamie plays a Spookster. So again, he still doesn't have anything in the afterlife, so he won't be able to move that to his spell book. And he's going to play New Beginnings. So somehow I don't have this card in my folder here, but that one's going to make both of us shuffle our hands into our deck and draw 7 new cards, or shuffle our chapters into our spell books and bookmark 7 new cards. And that's pretty disappointing to me because I actually had a really cool follow-up turn. You'll have to stay tuned to a future video for another game where I actually get to do that. But for now, I am going to lose my little combo I had in my hand. Here I'm whispering, my hand was perfect. Very angry with Jamie right now. But I still have a pretty good situation on the board, so I'm not super worried. It just would have been fun to do my thing. Jamie's going to have to come back a lot, and again, since he's playing the trial deck, or the pre-constructed deck, that might not be possible here. But I do have a bunch more life points to go through, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, got my 7 new cards. Let's see if I happen to redraw the same combo. I did not, but that's what I'm thinking in the moment, is hoping and praying. So Jamie makes it double knight, just, again, filling up cards in our hand. Plays another Spirit Aura. Was I saying Cosmic before? Plays another Morpheus. So my Chessie's asleep again, and I won't be able to pull off that same trick. If I try to damage it to wake it up again, it's going to die. It only has the 80 life points. So Jamie plays a Spectre Moose. And he's using the Flash trait on there, so he's making it so the water baby can't attack on my next turn. So this is yet another one of Jamie's beasties coming out of this pre-constructed deck that has this spirit trait, so I can't attack them directly. I have to kind of just let him have them, and I can attack Jamie, and maybe he'll block, or I can always, though, Torrential River and hit them for damage. Now that my Chessie is asleep again, I'm going to have a little bit more trouble closing out the game. Water Aura number 6, and I play a bookmark to draw 2. And there's another Chessie, so one's asleep, but I've got more. I think I'm considering whether I want to play more Water Babies. Often it's actually better to save them in hopes of drawing Torrential River and just having a big, better Torrential River turn. And the other thing is, if I play them now, I've got that Chaos Crystal out, and it's going to prevent them from drawing if they are destroyed. So I'm really thinking, maybe I just want to hold the Water Babies for those reasons. It looks like I've got 2 in hand. But I did decide to play them. So they do pump up the Chessie, and I guess I just want to kind of close out the game with their attacks. I do have another Flood the Earth in hand. I think I cycled one earlier, but I have the second copy, and so I'm going to be able to destroy all of Jamie's pages, which aren't water, and then that'll kind of clear the way for me to deal a bunch of damage, close out the game. So I want not only more Water Babies to attack with, but they power up the Chessie that I have in play as well. So I'm thinking it doesn't really matter what Jamie plays, as long as it doesn't like kind of affect my board. Like if he just wants to build out and play a bunch of his own beasties, that is totally fine. And so he's played a Familiar and then another Black-Eyed Children. So Familiar is just another small beastie. It's another spirit, and it can move beasties from his limbo to his afterlife. It's not a really benefit, I think. It's kind of a weird ability. It has an okay attack, and it can help you play spells, but none of that's really going to be relevant here. So he is attacking my Water Baby, unfortunately, and because of the Chaos Crystal, I'm not going to be able to draw. So the Spookster and the Moose are going to take out Water Babies, unfortunately. So none of the damage comes over to me because the Water Babies were the initial targets of the attack. It's only when they defend that the excess damage would kind of go through to the original target. So now Jamie's ending his turn. He's going to use that Familiar ability to move a Black-Eyed Children from his limbo to his afterlife. So in MetaZoo there is a graveyard or cemetery, which is for like spells and artifacts that are destroyed. There's also limbo, which is for beasties that are destroyed. And then there's an afterlife, which things tend not to come back from. Although the Spookster, when they come into play, do have the ability to flip a coin, and if heads, you get to move something from your afterlife to your spellbook, which is your deck. So you can reuse afterlife cards potentially, but it's kind of a very slow cycle to try to do it that way. So it's not going to be super relevant. He's just moving cards around for now. I start counting out and planning my turn. I lost some of my attackers, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and fatigue that Chaos Crystal because I know it's about to be destroyed as I play... Oh, I guess I'm playing the Oklahoma Octopus. So this is one of my favorite cards. This is the reason I wanted to build a MetaZoo deck in the first place. Just the idea of playing an octopus and making a bunch of tokens is exciting. So here come the tokens. It has the ability, speaking of the afterlife, when you contract it, you can send it directly to the afterlife, and you just get 10 tentacle tokens. And they have fleet, which means they can attack right away. They have 10 life points and a 10 damage attack. If you do keep the octopus around, it's a pretty serviceable card as well, but the tentacles are better for my deck. And there's the Flood the Earth. And unfortunately, I missed the first part of that card here. So I had to take it back because it can destroy all non-water pages, but it has to be the only page you contract this turn other than an aura. So I can't actually Flood the Earth now. So my little plan is not going to work out. But I am going to get to attack for a lot of damage, but Jamie's going to get another turn with his beasties in play. I'm attacking him directly. So 50 with the Water Baby, 180 with the tentacles, so that's 130. And then Chessie's going to attack for a lot of damage as well. So it says 360 is the total amount of damage from all of my attacks. All right, so Jamie gets to take his turn now and see what he can do with those beasties before I get to Flood the Earth. and lock him out of the game. Doesn't have that many life points left. I can't quite see the hundreds place on that life total, but yeah, you probably can't survive much more of that. The tentacle tokens really power up Chessie because they're all water pages. 8 water pages that come out of nowhere, which is essentially 160 damage if you have a Chessie. And if you had 2 Chessies, like if mine weren't asleep, that would be another 80 damage because, again, the Chessie attack counts up all 8 tentacles in addition to everything else you already had in play. All right, so he's playing another Spookster, and now he does get to flip the coin and see if he gets to move that Black-Eyed Children from his afterlife to his spellbook. He gets tails, but again, I don't think it matters either way. It's not super relevant to the game state at this point. So I think I'll remind him that that needs to be fatigued in a moment. He's figuring out what to attack with, and he probably is going to have to take some of my attackers off the table. It's like I'm at 485, so I am below half life points. All right, so he's going to do one attack at a time, and he's going to start trying to take out Chessie because it does a lot of damage. So the Moose is loose, is going to do 50 to Chessie, and then it has to take the full brunt in return, so it is going to be destroyed, but puts 50 damage onto Chessie. All right, throws in a Spookster as well for 10 more damage. It's a weird way of tracking damage, but I think I know what's going on here. So I know it's got 60 damage on it. I think I'm doing 5s again, so each pip is 5. I think we figure out a way, we prefer to do it later. I think we'll just do pips or 10, and then if we have in the future games. So from the Spookster's attack, now my Chessie is become confused as well as taking damage. And I have to flip a coin to see if the Chessie can deal damage in return here. So if it might deal damage to itself, so it hits itself, and the Spookster attack actually finishes off the Chessie and doesn't take any damage in return, unfortunately. So now both of my Chessies are out of commission. I do have my tentacles left, but I'm poised to flood the earth as well. The Water Baby is going to be taken out here. I won't get to draw. And then the Familiar is going to go directly at me and leave my tentacles intact, it looks like. The Familiar moves 1 card from his limbo to his afterlife. All right, so I bookmark 1 and awaken. Let's see. It's just the tentacles by themselves, only 80 damage. It's not going to be that good. But yeah, I'm just going to open up with the Flood the Earth to wipe his board. So this isn't going to be hugely too big of a turn for me other than just wiping out my opponent's stuff. And then I can just get in for 80 there. Play 1 more Water Aura and attack. I'll do another Chessie in my hand, but I can't play this turn because of the Flood the Earth's restriction. Okay, so Jamie can awaken and bookmark. So it looks like Jamie's interested in playing another copy of Possession on my sleeping Chessie. And I think he's thinking that it's going to get to deal a bunch of damage to me, but it's actually just going to finish off Chessie because the 5 damage that Possession deals gets doubled to 10. So yeah, that damage is going to finish it off. Although, I think that we might have miscounted there because I think it just had 60 damage on it, not 70, and Chessie's got 80 life points. That might have been a mistake on our side. He could have gotten in for that damage on me, it looks like. But then my Chessie would have been awakened after that, wouldn't have been sleeping anymore. So that might have actually been worse for him if... Again, I can't see my hundreds place life, so if he was able to finish me off with that, then of course that would be in his favor, but otherwise, I think we're killing it is actually better for him than what we should have done. Okay, so I got a bookmark to bookmark 2 more pages from my spellbook into my hand. Looks like I might have gotten a Manta Ray there. I'll probably just play the Chessie. Another Water Aura, another Chessie. Bookmark another card, attack for 80. Oh, and I'm going to play River of Time here. It's take another turn. And now I'm going to get that double damage, and there we go. So Jamie sees the death on the table. And there you go. That is the first of 4 games that Jamie and I played that night, so stay tuned for the rest. You can see a little bit of the Torrential River, a little bit of Chessie, some Flood the Earth. Played out okay again against this pre-constructed deck, but that's what Jamie's got built for now. Hopefully I'll get some more competitive games in at some point, but definitely stay tuned because I do get to do some more fun stuff with the deck, I think, in some of the other games. So thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers.